One of the things that really does make me laugh, teams come with 10 men behind the ball.
It's so hard.
And it's so hard. But it's Arsenal who are boring. It's not the other side that's boring. Like, you know what I mean? To put 10 men behind the ball.
I know this week's topic is perfect to discuss with an Arsenal fan, but it also might stir up a little debate as well. So I'm going to put it to Lee, who's with me. Lee, how do you feel about everyone saying Arsenal are boring to watch?
Personally, I don't care, but I actually get it at times, because there are times when I'm watching us and I think like it is a little bit boring. But I think it's because we're well coached, well drilled, and we're a team that controls games. It's not like we're not erratic, Listen, we had games like Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? I think it was Bournemouth a few seasons ago. Do you remember when we scored in the last minute and everybody went mad? It was a mad game. It was 2-0 down, getting it back and all that. That's entertainment. But now it's more, we know what we're doing. We control the game, and I can see why people think it's a little bit boring. And also, listen, everybody goes on about the set pieces and everything like that. But I do see other teams scoring set pieces, and I do you know what? Chelsea scored from a set piece on Sunday. I didn't hear them all going, "Oh well, it's a set piece," and that. They was actually going mad about it.
Set pieces are part of the game.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
And do you think it's it is because of coaches like Pep Guardiola, like Arteta, even like Enzo Maresca now? He's obsessed with playing possession-based football. They want the ball, but also you have to understand that sometimes with that, it comes slightly less entertaining to watch.
I totally agree. I'll be really honest, as a neutral, watching Man City for a few years, I didn't really enjoy watching them play because it was the same thing, pass,
yeah.
Win 2-0, game over. Do you know what I mean? So I get it because I've been there as well. Now Arsenal are doing it. Teams can come in. And listen, fans are always going to try and bait you. That's how it is, you know what I mean? If you're winning games, you've got to win it in a certain way. When you're winning in a certain way, we get, back in the days with Arsene Wenger, we'd play all this lovely football, and a team like Chelsea would bully us out of it and win the game 2-0. And then you go, was I entertained? Yeah, not really, you know what I mean? So I look at it and go, look, what do you prefer? Prefer to win games. You all want to win in games 3 or 4-0 or whatever, but over the last few games, we've had an unbelievable game against Sunderland, but we didn't win.
Yeah, but that was entertaining for everyone to watch, wasn't it?
It was entertaining for everybody else, but it weren't for us. You know what I mean? We ended up, getting a last-minute goal against us. So there's two ways to look at it. I really do but I understand it. And if fans want to bait us, we must be doing something right. I
also just think, especially from Arsenal's perspective, having come second now, why do you care how you're playing football? This season for Arsenal is about getting over the line. It's not about playing lovely football. It's about winning games. And if you're winning games, as an Arsenal fan, I can't imagine why anyone's cared about playing nice football, especially this season in particular.
I couldn't agree more. And if you're not winning games, then it gets a little bit of a problem if you're sitting there and you're not winning those games, But you are sitting there, and one of the things that really does make me laugh, teams come to Emirates. You'll be having it with Chelsea as well. They come with 10 men behind the ball.
It's so hard.
And it's so hard. But it's Arsenal who are boring. It's not the other side that's boring. To put 10 men behind the ball. We're boring because we're not finding a way to get through it. And it's very, very difficult because they're coached so well these days. Every team's coached so well. So, listen, you've got to find ways to win. And sometimes it has to be a little bit, if it's a little bit boring but it gets you over the line, so be it.
Yeah, and also I think fans do have nostalgia, don't they? When they look back to old Arsenal teams, that especially Arsenal, that were so lovely to watch over the years, and it did lead to winning the Premier League, and it did lead to going invincible. Some of the football you played that season was unbelievable. So do you think fans just look back to that and go, well, it can be done, but football's changed, and football's not what it was back in the early 2000s?
That's a great point. It's not like that no more. It was. Listen, Arsenal were fantastic to watch under Arsene Wenger, but it was also times when we were still fantastic to watch when we first went into the Emirates, and we were still losing 4-0s and 3-0s. Yeah. I didn't hear anybody going Arsenal should, they're so, they weren't worried about us then entertaining. They was quite happy for us to lose games. So I think there is a happy medium. I think you've got to entertain your fans. I think there's no two ways about that. I think this season we have been at times a little bit boring, but there's been times where I've really enjoyed watching Arsenal this season. If you want me to be entertaining and we come second,
You'd rather.
I'd rather be like a little bit boring and come first.
Which football do you prefer then? Early 2000s football Arsenal or early or now?
You've got the football that we played in those years, 98 to 2004. Was. I don't think you can ever. There's eras like with Chelsea, Liverpool, like what they've had, Manchester United. You're never going to get them back.
No.
Never ever going to get them back. You know what I mean? Because there's never going to be an Henri. There's never going to be a Vera.
With that, do you think? I suppose we are lacking those sorts of. I think Henri, and for me it's Hazard. I just don't think we see those sorts of players anymore. I think the game is far too controlled, and like the freedom of like Jack Grealish is a good example. Going to City and he felt a little bit restricted, then going to Everton and the Jack Grealish at Villa and he was a little bit free. We don't have players like that anymore. Football's not really played like that anymore.
Fantastic point. I think they're about, but they're not going to be at the top teams.
Not in the Premier League anyway.
Not in the Premier League. They're going to be like somewhere, but not, because you've got to have a structure to do this and do that and defend like this. De Bruyne, I think, was a wonderful. He wasn't a maverick in the way of a Hazard or an Henri. But I don't know if I'd enjoy playing as much if I was a player now than I was back in the day. I think like with Arsenal, there was that freedom that you could just go out and enjoy yourself and all that. I think if Arsene Wenger was manager now, I think he'd struggle because every team is tactically aware, and they'd be playing this block system and all that, and we find it very difficult to break down. So football's changed. I don't know if it's for the best, but give me those days when we was winning and entertaining as well. But I we all want both.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let us know in the comments, do you think Arsenal are boring or maybe they are just effective? Lee, thank you so much.
No
That
worries.
is it from us and we will see you next time.